right? But when you're only around yes men that won't say, yo, Donovan, Peter, this is user error. Like, quit feeling bad about yourself and blaming people. Like, this is user error. You are the fucking reason why you're feeling like this. Your decisions and your actions are making you feel like this. Like, and I'm not saying a therapist is going to say that, or you need a friend to say that, but in a sense, you kind of need that, whether it's blunt, straight up, or it's kind of, massaged into the conversation. You need different insight. And I had a friend that was like, why am I going to therapy and going to tell this dude I don't even know my problems? And I'm like, oh, so you're going to tell your cousin that's in the same boat as you know what I'm saying? Your problems, who has no advice or insight to give you how to get better because y'all in the same boat.
Welcome back to Guys That Listen. I'm Peter. Today we're missing Mario because it's Christmas and he's busy with his ho-ho-hos. But I'm joined today with my friend Johnny, which you've seen in the past episodes, and our guest today, Donovan.
What up? Thanks for having me.
All right, Don, for anyone who hasn't seen or heard of you before, let them know.
Well, I think a lot of people haven't seen or heard about me, but my name's Donovan. I do a lot of shit. I don't know. I guess I'm an entrepreneur. Born in the 707. Born in Vallejo, California. Raised most of my life in Fairfield, California. Moved to OC about 10 years ago. And just trying to make funds while having fun.
Don, you've been here for how long now, you said?
Shit, my 10, 11 years.
11 years. What was your reasoning to move from the Bay to OC?
Good question. I probably told you this story. I'll try to give you the short version. I was in my, mid-20s and things were going great back home. I had a great job. I was DJing, throwing events. That same year, I think I won. I was training too that year. I won like 12 battles that year. It was such a good year. I, one day thought, where would I be in 10 years? And it wasn't anything bad, right? It was like almost too predictable. So for lack of better words, the hippie in me, thought about it like, I actually don't want my future to be predictable. And it doesn't, when I look back, it probably didn't have anything to do with the location, right? That's just where I was at mentally at the time. So one of my best friends, Marcel, had moved to Orange County because he got a job at Pacific Sunwear. Their corporate headquarters is in Anaheim. And then one of my other best friends who you had on the show, Lang, a.k.a. Faye Reds, was moving in with him. And he was like, hey, D, I got some room at the apartment. Lang's moving here. Think about it. And I was like, okay. So I was chilling. I was renting a room at my sister's house at the time, and I was chilling on the couch. Lang was moving to OC that day, but he had to go to Seattle to pick stuff up or to handle something. And then after about 20 minutes of thinking, I texted him. I was like, yo, did you pass the Bay yet? He's like, no, I'll be there in 3 hours. And then I was like, fuck it, pick me up. And
oh, shit.
And then, I grabbed whatever I could. I was like, I need to come back. There's no way I could fit all this shit in his Honda Civic. It was like a DX 2000
shit.
Honda Civic. Maybe I dated it. Sorry, Lang. It might have been 2005. Maybe not that old. But I just remember for 6 hours, I'm in the passenger seat driving like this, Sorry if I cut out. But yeah, I was just driving like this because he had so much shit in the car. And it was 6 hours just like, fuck it. I think we even went to drive-through and got food. So I'm just eating my shit like that. But anyways, yeah, that's how I ended up here.
That's crazy. Did you ever go to the OC prior to that?
I didn't. I mean, a little bit, but like for competitions and stuff like that. But mostly LA, San Diego. I'd go to the IE once in a while. There were some competitions there, events there. If I was in LA and, if there was a function in OC or a function later that night in IE, that's where I would go. But, I guess when you're living outside of Southern California and, you hear this all the time, everyone's goal is you kind of want to be in LA, right? I want to be in LA and do this and that. Mm-hmm. And, I was blessed to have an agent. I did industry work for a very, very short time. I taught in LA did some auditions, got some gigs, and then I was like, huh, kind of like OC, you know, it was a little more chill.
Oh,
Yeah.
And you know that when I had to choose in between LA, OC, I chose OC, thinking, oh, okay, maybe I can move to LA later on, but never did. I like OC. It's in between LA and San Diego, and yeah, LA living in Orange County, like shit. I'm 25, 30 from LA. I mean, yeah, I love Orange County to be honest. I'm proud as fuck to be where I'm from. You always see me repping it, but you know, OC's been dope, and thanks to the Feel Good Collective and a lot of other great individuals, you know, they've helped make it a second home.
you know, you said that you didn't want your life to be unpredictable, or you didn't want it to be predictable.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your game plan coming out here?
Oh, it was terrible. It was like one of the worst years of my life. A lot of people that even if you have your shit mapped out, right? Like the transitional year, the first year is like hell.
So you got what you wanted.
Fuck, I know, right? Totally
Cheers
different
that,
mind
cheers
state
that.
now. Cheers. I mean, I was like, okay, I could get it together because, you know, I'm pretty successful with what I do now. I'm going to go to Southern California and just apply what I know. But, you know, some shit works. Some shit will not apply to the new location. You know, it was just a funny year, man. It was like car problems, deciding where to stay, getting used to traffic. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I'm staying in Anaheim. Yeah, I'll take this teaching gig in Van Nuys. It's Southern California, right? And then you're like, ah, shit, actually, I don't want this. So when I first moved out here, my boy, actually from the Bay, plugged me with a job in Anaheim Hills. And then I was also teaching in Torrance. So a few times a week, I'd drive from Anaheim, and I'm at Anaheim Hills, not far, then Torrance, and then come back. It was a very humbling year, you know, and shit, it taught me a lot, you know. And it's funny too. I remember going home. When was it? Like January of 2013. And my mom's like, yo, maybe you should think about moving back here. Like, are you
shit.
good? Like, you know, what's your game plan? What's this and that? And I'm like, shit, I'm just going to make it work like I always do. You feel me? Like, that's it.
You're like, Ma, I ain't no bitch.
How dare you ask
But
me
you know,
that?
that's how parents are. They kind of want to impose their will. Like, no, this is what you got to do. You got to move back and all that. But happy as fuck that I stayed. I love it in Orange County. Yeah, and here we are. But yeah, that first year sucked.
Yeah, dude.
I think I'm getting PTSD from it. Like the fucking traffic, busted radiator in the traffic.
Was there any point you were like, fuck, dude, maybe I am, or maybe I should consider moving back? Really? Not a single doubt.
Never. Yeah, I'm just that stubborn to where I'm like, I'm going to make it work. If it takes a few months, if it takes a few years, I'm going to make this shit work.
Because I've lived here basically my whole life. So I don't know what it's like to move from like one place to another, but even more so, even though, you know, NorCal is still a part of California, is completely different than
Yeah,
Southern California.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how did you get like adjusted to the culture?
Moving here too, it's like you remember being in your mid 20s, like you think you got life figured out, right?
Yeah.
You feel like you're an adult now. I graduated college. I got a full-time job. I understand this life thing.
Yeah.
So I think that is kind of a big reason why I moved, because the quarter life crisis, right, might have gotten to me, and I was like, oh, I'm switching it up. Fuck this shit. I can't do the
So
same
it's like kind of
shit.
perfect time. You're like, oh, it's time for me to switch it
Yeah.
up. Like, oh, I'm out of the house. Like, I'm actually out of home. Like, I'm just,
Yeah.
and you're just like forced to like adapt. I
No,
guess.
yeah,
around that
definitely.
age, you're just like, oh, this is my time to
Yeah.
shine. And you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
But to go back to your question, because I wasn't really stumped. I knew I was going to say something else. But going back to your question about getting used to the culture, like, yeah, it's a different culture. But, you know, where I was born, it was literally one of, like, colleges have done studies, literally one of the most diverse places in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, over time with different industries, things have changed. But by the time I moved here, Vallejo, Fairfield was the most diverse place in the United States. So,
Oh, wow.
like, you know, reading social cues from different types of people, you know, and just, you know, I was in sales since I was a kid, you know, and just being super observant. I understood people. I can't say I understand 1,000%, But it really wasn't a problem to me adjusting.
I know you said that you taught a lot of dance classes once you
Uh-huh.
came out here. So obviously you've been dancing for what? How
Uh-huh.
long now?
Shit, good question. Like 23 years.
At what point did you decide like, hey, this is kind of like my career?
That's a great question. And it was never my career, to be honest. I mean, I never wanted it to be my career. I never, shit, even when I was teaching like 5 classes a day, and
Yeah.
when I never really looked at it like this is my career. This is what I got to do until I find the next thing, And I love dancing. I love teaching, Came across some great kids and adults that I've taught, but I never wanted it to be my bread and butter, so to say. But I was just teaching because while I need to connect the dots and get a job that's going to provide the income I want, shit, I know I could teach breaking, and I know at the time, there was really no breaking program. So I literally Googled every dance studio in Orange County and emailed them, right? So I emailed, I don't know, 100, 200 studios.
Oh shit.
Maybe it wasn't that much. I might be exaggerating. Maybe it was 100 or something, right? Shit, I got about 20 something emails back, and obviously there's only so much time in the day.
Yeah.
I was able to take about 5 of those studios offers, and yeah, it was cool. I mean, the money was actually good because I'm teaching 5 classes a day, but when it came to me wanting to practice, like I knew B-boys here already and B-girls here already because the dance community is so small. I was like, I kind of don't want to train because I just been dancing for 5 hours while exerting physical, mental energy to these kids where some want to be there and learn, some don't. But yeah, to answer your question, I never really like wanted it to be my career. And I respect those that do because, it's not easy. But, I like to train on my own time, whatever that may be, right? If I'm training 20 hours a week, or you know what, I only got time to do 10 hours this week. Okay, there are these competitions here. Let me get ready for this competition.
Yeah.
Oh, dope. You got it. I got some gig offers. Shit, I can't do this one. Oh, can you do this one? Yeah, I'll take that gig. I kind of, it kept me like, it just kept it a little more fun looking at it that way.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking anyone that like I got admiration, a lot of love for people that made it their career, but I also as a young kid saw people that did, and a lot of just a lot of stress, a lot of people are living gig to gig, people are just like any other industry, people are crossing each other. People are doing each other dirty just for like, I wouldn't even say a few thousand, sometimes a gig that's only paying like 500. And, I just didn't want to come close to that.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But,
Have you like lost any friends or like, bumped heads with people that are doing what you're doing? It's like, oh, I'm better than you or some shit. It's usually kind of like that.
I mean, kinda, or maybe like there was a battle. I might have talked some shit. Someone got a little butt hurt or something like that. But nah, I don't really, whether it's dancing or whatever, like,
Yeah.
if you know me, I'm approachable and I'm
just-
pretty
it's just
easy
not
to
gonna
talk
faze
to.
you. It's
I
not
get,
gonna-
yeah, I get it though too. Like maybe some people think I could come off arrogant and all that, but no, I'm easy to talk to. So whether it's dancing or whatever, like if there's an issue,
Yeah.
we could have a 10-minute conversation, 30-minute conversation. We could talk.
Yeah.
But if you want to assume this and that, that's all good too, But no, I never really had any beef. Yeah, there was like funny ass dance beef, but I've been throwing events since I was 17.
Yeah.
And then one of my mentors was like, yo, I know you want to talk some shit, but you're throwing these events. Don't say shit. And they're going to come and pay the $20 admission. And because of that, I was like, yo, I'm competing. But at the same time, like, I got some business to do within the community. So it's not worth for me to, at the time, go on discussion boards, and talk all this shit. I mean, I'm going to see you at another competition. If it's beef, it's beef. You could talk to me. If it's not, then you'll probably end up at my battle fucking putting money in my pocket.
Honestly, dance cultures like beef and stuff is so funny. It's
Yeah.
like its own bubble almost, right? Like you wouldn't think those things happen, but like the years of just kind of like witnessing as like a spectator,
Yeah.
how many people get so heated and like burn friendships and
Yeah.
stuff like that over like dance beef, like literally just saying who's better and just being competitive, you
Yeah.
know, or who's more original, or like if people are biting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That
Sonny sold us out.
yeah, I don't know any other culture that calls those things out more than dance culture.
And that's why I think it's so great, right? Like for people that have beef and don't fucks with each other because of some dance shit, but whatever it is within dance, I think that's why it's so dope and it's so raw.
Yeah.
Because it is that petty. You know, nah, I'm just playing, but
It's part of the culture.
I mean, if you think of anything in a sense competitive, right? Like whether it's art, sports, whatever you want to call it, you know, imagine there was no competitive ego. Right? Imagine there was no pettiness in breaking, in dancing, in basketball, in business, in you know what I'm saying? You hear about the competitiveness in business too, and you're like, oh, that's petty, but I love it. Like who was it that won the patent or won some lawsuit and they paid him in pennies and shit? Do you remember that? Samsung, right? Who paid? Did
Damn.
Apple send that to Samsung or Samsung?
Samsung paid Apple in pennies.
Love
Pennies?
it. I love it. I love it, right? You know, with all that being said, you know, I can't be mad at people that, you know, do have beef with other people or whether it's petty, whether it's serious or whatever, because, you know, that's how much the dance means to them.
Sure.
You know, and again, my boy Motion, Big Bro Motion, you know, he's 40 something. I'll see him you met him at Rising Sun. You met him too. In between when he was
My blackout?
yeah. When he wasn't about to pass out. But you know, he told me one time we were training, he's like, that's why breaking's so dope, is because like for decades you'll have this bond with somebody because in order to be involved with breaking, you damn near gotta have some screws loose or be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because shit, if you think, you know, me moving to SoCal was aimless, like when you start breaking, what's the dream? You know, or like what's the game plan?
Yeah.
Other than it being fun, you wanting to see the world and all this, like what is the long-term play? Probably nothing. We're beating our bodies up. We're practicing for hours on end, fucking up our cars, going to practice, going to jams. I mean, it's like that for a lot of crafts, a lot of different things, but you know, you got to be kind of crazy to do it, and that's why I think I love it so much, you know, and though that's probably the most valuable thing I'll ever take from dancing is not just the memories, it's really the friendships, you know, because there are people I see all the time. There are people I'll see once in a blue moon because they're from another country. But yeah, man, those friendships for now until the infrastructure changes, which I think it will with breaking financially. Yeah, man, I really hold those relationships close to my heart because shit, that's all we got are the memories and the relationships we made through the journey.
You know how you're talking about like when you start breaking, it's just for the fun.
Yeah.
And then now you look at it like, damn, I'm beating up my body. Like what are we aiming for, right? It's aimless at first, but
yeah, what's like the end goal? Because for the longest time, like breakdance was just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna dance. There was like, I don't know what it is. It's like, okay, cool, I'm in this competition. I'm like traveling the world, but like that's all it was. And now it's like when the it's in the Olympics now, right?
It's gonna be in the Olympics next year or
So it's got a
3
long
weeks.
way. So like
Definitely. It's been a blessing.
that dream or like whatever that we want to do after school became like a bigger thing.
Yeah.
So I think because like everybody was doing it for the passion. I think that's
what it
what
is.
brought it from where it was to where it is now. You know, it's like people that are consistent with their passion, like you. It's like imagine like you just stopped. You're probably like actually a big piece of the puzzle. You know,
also very true.
like legit, like that vancing would have happened. All those people wouldn't have came. It's like imagine you fucking quit.
Well, I could still quit and throw the jam. No, I'm playing. But I feel you though. Like just you're talking about like just
Being
not
involved.
even being involved with the scene.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I might have cut you off. What were you gonna say?
You actually cut me off, but I was gonna
I was gonna say, in general, like because I always correlate dancing in general or things like dancing where it's like it starts off as just pure passion. You don't know why you're doing it, you just love it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's because it's crazy, like this rebellious kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because I always compare it to like skateboarding, right?
Yeah.
Like when people start skating, it was like, what the fuck were you gonna do? You know, like unless you were in the 1% of pros or like in a video game or some shit like that. Literally, you were just couch surfing, living from couch to couch, like
that's
going on
what
tours.
breaking was. Shit, it might still be like that.
Yeah. That's kind of like the beauty of those things, though, right?
It is.
It's
It
like
really
that's
is.
all it was, just pure passion. You
It's
did
just
for
all
the
passion.
love.
Literally, yeah. It's like
Just-
testing your resilience
Yeah.
every damn day. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what am I
lo-
gonna learn today?
Yeah.
Am I gonna get it today? Am I gonna land it, or am I gonna break a bone? Or
Yeah,
some shit?
yeah. You beat yourself up for all that, and I think one of the things I wanted to talk about was when it comes to passion and things where that it used to just feel aimless, and the only reason why you did it was purely out of love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you change something that you did it for no reason, and now you change it to something for a reason, as like making money.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like it takes a lot of the joy out of it? Because, you know, same. We all create in one way or another, right? And a lot of the things that we've created through the years is purely just because we enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But now when we place like a monetary value on it, for me at least, I feel like it really waters down the reason why you did it in the first place.
It definitely does.
To be honest, I definitely see where you're coming from. Like I could agree to an extent.
Yeah.
When there's money involved, I definitely don't. But that's me, like personally, right? Like,
Yeah.
And anything I say really is just in a personal opinion because everybody is fucking different. Their reasons, how they were raised, you know, their capability, so on and so forth. But I don't think so because my end goal is, or not my end goal, like what I'm aiming towards is like, and it might sound cliche, is that I want to make money off of this shit that I could, you know what I'm saying, not even look at my watch doing.
Yeah.
You always hear me say peace, purpose, paper. Like that's really what I want to do is just, you know, be creative, make my thoughts come to life and make money off of that.
Yeah.
So when there's money involved, nah, I don't think it is like an issue or it takes the joy and love out. I just think it's a lack of financial literacy, and thank God, you know, things are, you know, there's a lot more resources for it now,
Yeah.
but you know, it could cause that, you know, and it's not just financial literacy, it could also be, you know, mental health and all that messes it up. But I don't think it does, you know, I don't think money does. It's the person, right? That does. Like if you're insecure about being broke, which we've all been there, and you get some money, like, you know, it could either make you a better person or it could just, you know, make those insecurities or whatever other issues you have mentally, like just multiply, you know, and just increase. So, no, I don't think money takes the love out of it, you know. And I think what I'm aiming for is to do everything I love and become wealthy off of it, you know. Like,
What do you think about breaking being the Olympics?
I love it. I fucking love it. I'm stoked.
Is there anything that you're like, maybe I'm not too fond of that aspect of it being the Olympics?
So you know, like my crew, Rock Force crew, they're a lot more involved with, or they kind of know more so what's going on behind the scenes. I'm all for it. I mean, the IOC itself is, you know, from what I hear, super political in general, right? So you're now breaking, even though as dancers, whatever dance form you do, you're like, oh, it's politics at this competition or at these events, and all that stuff. But shit, you want to talk politics, you're going into the Olympics, you know?
Yeah.
There are those politics, and I wouldn't say I understand the rules and the regulations that are put in place because of breaking coming to the Olympics, but it's more so, and this is just me being petty, it's just more so of the way I see people moving, right? Whether that's in the US or other countries, just to be a part of the Olympics. I get it, like get your money, but don't sacrifice your character, you know, and your morale because you see opportunity in the Olympics. So like I totally get, like, again, like I said, the rules and regulations that they're implementing into breaking because that's what we have to do, right? Or have to do to be in the Olympics. But it's more so like the people, the companies that I see kind of trying to either gatekeep or just you know, switching up,
snaking through,
just to be involved. And all good too, because that's business.
That is business,
That's
yeah.
dancing. Everyone has their own goals. whatever they got to do to get it. And if they fucking get it, I can't say shit.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you did it. Like, good stuff. But yeah, I think the landscape, the environment for breaking next year is going to be a lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very, very interesting.
Okay. Well, I kind of want to ask like both of you guys. We're like in our 30s now, and I'm not a person who puts like a lot of value on age, meaning like just because there are certain ages doesn't mean you can't do certain things. But obviously, age is a variable in some things you do, especially breaking, right? Because
hell yeah.
your body, but not only that, but like in general, a lot of things that we're doing as Asian Americans, I feel like our parents, for the most part, at least my parents, and I know Johnny's parents would be like, that's kind of a questionable path. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's not as direct as going to college, getting a 9 to 5, and you get into your 30s and like, what are you guys still doing sometimes, And
Damn, yeah.
I think we're one of the first people of our generations to really do something like this. Do you guys ever feel insecure? Because for me, this is, to be honest, this is the first year, or not the first year, sorry. It's been like a couple of years since I had to step back and take a 9 to 5 per se, in order to realize that like, oh shit, like maybe for me to like strive financially, I kind of have to step out of the things I want to create. And for me, at least, it made me feel a little bit insecure because I feel like, am I straying away from the path that I want to go? And I'm not going full force because like I'm not enough. You know what I mean?
Dude, I reside with that like 1,000%, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? Yeah, it's been like 3 years since I had like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And it's because like, yeah, I wasn't making enough money.
It's
And
hard.
It was pretty fucking bad. I didn't tell anybody because, I was
Yeah.
doing like weird gigs here and there just to like stay afloat. But it wasn't out of insecurity. I was so like, what do you call it, confident in my skills that I'm going to see it through.
Yeah.
Like when it's worth the fucking struggle, like some people like, oh yeah, I'm fucking hungry. But like, cool, you're hungry, but have you fucking starved? That's the complete fucking difference.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, yeah, I'm hungry. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this and that. But it's like, if you've never starved, like, you know what the fuck hungry is, man. Like, you don't. Like, and I remember one time, and I still remember it up till today. I had 91 cents in my bank because that was the year I was fucking born, dude.
Yeah.
91 fucking cents. 91. And I was like, I'm never gonna be this fucking broke again. And I just kept pushing. I kept failing. But you know what? Like, I wanted this. This is what I want to fucking do, bro. And like, even if my parents didn't understand, bro, I got like, it was a fucking nightmare trying to like, I stopped proving it to them. Like, I just didn't even say anything. I was like, I'm just going to do this, do what I want. And when I get to that point, like, then you're going to fucking see it. And honestly, which is literally this year when they actually saw it. And the thing is like, I had to get the 9 to 5, but at the same time, like, I had to bridge that gap to make it make sense where like, I didn't really have to like, I'm putting quotes work. I was still doing what I wanted to do, but actually make some fucking money.
Yeah.
And marketing was literally the only way where like I could still create, like do photography, videos and stuff. But it's like, I didn't know how to translate that. And it took me fucking forever to figure it out. I was like, holy shit, marketing is like literally the only way I could fucking do it. And like, even I'm still doing like, pursuing my passion and like, doing what I'm doing now. But it's like, bro, I'm fucking drained, man. I feel like a fucking zombie. I haven't created anything for myself in literally those fucking 3 years. I feel fucking dead. Like I don't think I have it anymore. And there was this one time, like, I was talking to, who the fuck was I talking to? It was actually Kai. I was talking to Kai and like, I was telling him like, dude, I'm fucking depressed because I don't think I got it like that no more. The moment I thought of like, a passion project that I want to do outside of work, I immediately thought it like how to do it as a fucking ad. And I was like, oh my God. That was the first thing I thought of. Like, hey, how am I going to shoot this girl? I was like, oh, like, dude, text. I'm like, what the fuck? And immediately, like, literally within that split second, I felt it like in my stomach. I was like, fuck, I'm part of the fucking process of like just fucking work, dude.
Yeah.
And that made me feel pretty sad. So when it comes to that, I literally have to separate myself as much as I can from like putting myself into the work and doing things for myself.
Yeah.
you have to keep that. It's the fine line, like, because you will lose yourself by inputting too much of like your style, like you into the work, you know.
Yeah.
So I keep it separated.
It's hard because, like, this during COVID, obviously picking up a 9 to 5, that has nothing to do with everything I've been pursuing prior. Just like prior to COVID, it was always like, let me figure out my next business idea that has something to do with what I'm passionate about, whether it's like photography, dance, music, And then to go into a job such as like in mortgage, where it's just like all numbers game. I felt like I couldn't make it anymore. It took me a while till we brought like something like this podcast and the events to come back, because prior I was starving. You know what I mean? It was similar, maybe not 91 cents. I don't even know what the fuck, dude. I think I've seen a negative sign a couple times.
Yeah, at least yours wasn't negative.
Yeah, you know what I
I've
mean?
seen it before when I was younger.
How
but
much are
like,
Jack in the Box tacos now?
Fuck, I don't know.
$2? I don't fucking know.
It's not. It's not
up
two
there.
for $1 no more.
No, it's probably like $1 for
It's over
one.
$1,
But you know what I mean? Like because when you push for something for so long, because to be honest, I've been pushing the stuff that I love for so long, it has never ever made me fucking rich. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it ever will. And that wasn't really the point. I never was aiming to fucking become rich with it. Like, it would be nice, but when you starve all the time and you see people doing shit, and especially as you get older, and like people can do things with their money, like travel. You know what I mean? Like, some people want to start families, some people want to invest in their 401k, whatever. So, I didn't have any of that for like the longest time. That wasn't on my mind, like, except for the traveling part, obviously. But like, I can't even think about investing. I was just thinking about like, fuck, dude, when's my account gonna be positive again? And after a while, it takes like a toll on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you try for so long, and I think maybe also living in a day and age of social media and comparison, where I was like, damn, dude, when is it gonna be my fucking time? And not again, like, not my time to become rich, but at least see what I would deem as like successful, and that really got to me. It got to me like heavy, and that's one of the things I want to keep on pushing, because I don't want to give up.
Yeah.
I keep on going with this thing because I don't want to give up. Yeah, maybe I do need to put my pride aside and do this 9 to 5 thing for a bit while I'm still pushing the things I love, and maybe I just need to go all in. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because
It's a weird balance.
Yeah.
It's a really weird
No,
balance.
it's tricky. And then I think I might have told y'all before. So, with all that being said,
It's cheers to balance, man. Cheers to keeping it.
cheers, somewhat.
I'm not saying astrology is my religion, but being a Libra,
Oh, no,
being
toxicity.
being a Libra, the scale
That's so
actually shows that you have a hard time balancing. So, if it is true, I fucking
I
agree.
mean, not with your hand hops or whatever you do. Right? It's pretty good balance there.
But I totally see where y'all coming from. I've been there. Shit, you never know. Depending on how I feel, I might get back there, right? But I've had mentors, that are creatives, that are in entertainment, that are just into making money and investing. Where I work right now, it came together so crazy, and it was such a blessing. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week, right? Because shit, everything was closed. It was the pandemic, and I just need to make some dough, because everything I want to do entertainment wise, helping manage venues, gigs myself, feel good events, other gigs, just anything, throwing events, that was off the table, right? Like, so I just worked, and I was blessed to have a mentor to kind of show me like how much, or to kind of take caps off of what I thought what a lot of money was, right? And I'm not demeaning that, but yeah, after I deposit that check, it's like, shit, why am I not excited, right? Because no, I'm a motherfucking creative. I'm an entrepreneur.
I was
Like,
about to add to Peter's story,
like
but yeah.
that's who I truly am. And then somebody like, and I know it's not easy, right? But I have other mentors that are multimillionaires just off of being a creative. I'm like, okay, that's the flex.
Yeah.
And everybody's goal is different. Like, you know what? Fuck, I just like money. I don't want to do nothing creative no more. I'm genuinely happy making all this money. Cool. Or some people are geniuses, and when it comes to finances, they know how to hack it, and that really is their art. That really is what they do.
Yeah.
You know, but for me, it's like, okay, I'm thankful for my mentor showing me the potential that I could make financially, but the real flex is here, becoming wealthy off of your creativity. And even if it's not creative, just shit you love doing, right? That's the real flex. But to go back a minute ago, I think I was about 20 years old. I was throwing this event. Man, I forgot his last name. Lush One remembers Andrew. But I was throwing an event at this new venue in West Oakland, 2232 MLK. And, you know, like I was throwing a couple jams there. Other promoters started throwing jams there. That place like gave me the opportunity to open up for like people from Hieroglyphics, Wu-Tang, so on. It was dope. And then, you know, when it came to talking business, contracts, and money and all that, obviously I'd go there and we'd chop it up. And the owner, Andrew, like he was just so like forward with his thinking. And I had said something like, you know, no, I don't want to be caught in the system, right? I'm 20 years old at the time. You know, I'm like, I want to do what I love, blah, blah, blah. And he said something that sticks to me till this day, and I'm really sharing it because I'm hoping it could help y'all, is that he was like, I'll never get stuck in a system, but sometimes I may have to go through a system to get what I want, right? Like, that's all it is. And relationships, business, whatever the hell we do, sometimes there is compromise. Would it be dope if we never had to compromise and can do whatever the fuck we want? Yeah, I get it, but sometimes there's compromise. And yeah, like, you're working a job, you're not making the money you want to from your creative projects. It's all good because that compromise isn't permanent. You know, if I saw y'all really, really stuck, I'd say it as a friend, like, yo, like, you are in a well-paid compromise. And I'm not knocking that either. If you're in a well-paid compromise, cool. You know, it's not permanent. It's just what we got to do. And sometimes we need that fucking compromise. Like, I couldn't do like In the Circle, and then I'm not even saying In the Circle's perfect. You know, there was a lot of headaches. There was a lot of stress doing it. But if I hadn't taken that job and seen how buttoned up their project management was, I couldn't have done In the Circle last year or this year. But because me throwing events, whether it's private events or concerts or nightlife, like me thinking I knew the event industry, now I'm working with people that are working for ESPN, that are in-event managers for the Super Bowl. I see how buttoned up they are, and I'm like, oh, okay. So the compromise sometimes is really a blessing to help you level up. Like, definitely. Whatever the hell you're learning there, dope, because I'm sure you're learning a lot of shit doing what you're doing for that agency.
Yeah, I'm learning my boundaries.
But okay.
Boundaries.
Okay, I get it. He wants to be kind of pessimistic to it because he may not be happy.
It's a good thing,
right? The boundaries. Okay, but it's a joke. This is my boy, right? Okay, you know about, you know, ad management and ad buys, right? And like really doing it. So now you could take that into whatever product or hustle, right? In a sense.
Yeah.
Same thing with you doing mortgages, right? You see the procedures. You're and even if you want to kind of be surface level about it, you're interacting with people more. You know what style of your sell. Oh shit, you know what? Like, if I could sell this motherfucker $1 million loan, why can't I sell them some shit that I really like doing? So I think it's all good, and most of the time, shit, it's for the level up because the compromise isn't permanent. You're not stuck in a system.
Oh, yeah.
You're going through the system, and I'm super grateful. That dude Andrew, I think he went from owning that venue, selling it, and now he works for like the city of Oakland or the county of Alameda, doing other crazy shit, you know. But that's how I see it. Like, it's all good. It's all good. Like, sometimes we need that, you know, and like your business acumen will grow, or sometimes maybe you won't learn shit from that place. It'll grow your fire to be like, fuck, I really need to do this. Now I'm pissed. Now I really understand what the fuck I need to do and how I need to turn up. Because just like, whether you're talking about working out, playing a video game, school, whatever. Like, yo, like when do you level up being fucking comfortable?
Never.
Never.
Yeah, 100%.
Never. Like,
Unless
unfortunately,
it's a video game or some shit.
no, video games are fucking stressful. Like, they are fucking stressful,
Yeah.
right? Like, you could get stuck on the same shit for days. If it's weak, yeah, get the motherfucking strategy guide or whatever the fuck you need to
Game
get,
Shark.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, growing pains come with leveling up, and
I agree.
that's what I feel like. You got to go through that, and then I think you all have noticed to where the bullshit that you were losing patience for happens so much that you have more patience for it. You don't stress of, you don't lose sleep anymore off of it, you know? And yo, like, how's our stamina gonna get up if we're not fucking going through harder training? So I think y'all are I think both of y'all are in a great place.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Regardless, you know.
I think
and,
I'm in a great place too. It's like this is probably like one of the places where I'm like, damn, I actually made it to kind of where I expected this photography creativity to be at, you know. But everywhere I work at, I always see it as a stepping stone. So I'm never really
Factual.
stuck. I'm never really stuck.
yeah, that's dope
I'm always
to know. You don't
when
do
I'm
that.
stuck is like, what's my next step?
Yeah.
That's where I'm stuck. It's like when I outgrow something, I'm confused. I'm like, shit, I know I need to get out of here, but what am I gonna do next? That's when I'm stuck.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say is like, it's dope that you understand that, and I'm sure whatever the hell you're learning, you could take that, apply it, refine it to whatever the fuck you want to do. You
Level
know,
up always, yeah, no, for sure.
All right. Well, damn. Thanks for that, Don. I kind of want to pivot a little bit. I know you talked about growing pains. Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to talk about just growing up in general. I know we talked about this a little bit outside of the podcast, but you know, getting to we're all very sociable people, right? Even though you guys might deem yourself as like introverted or extroverted, it doesn't really fucking matter. Like to me, none of that matters, right? Like, do you think now, like being at the age that we're at, we're starting to see people get married, you know, people are now changing their lifestyles, right? And you kind of have to really reassess like your life a little bit more. You know, dude, my circle of friends is fucking huge. You guys all know, you guys are part of it. And things change as you get a little bit older, right? Priorities change.
Oh, yeah.
And friendships end up not being nearly as close, you know. And you know, a couple things I had to reassess this year was, you know, we're at an age where a lot of people are getting married.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, it's sometimes shocking when certain people don't get invited. I'm not fucking married. Neither are any of these guys, so I don't know how that decision's made. So I can't say anything because I'm not in their shoes, right? But it is interesting to really like ask yourself, like, oh, who's really important in your life, you know? And I think that's one of the things that you really have to address later as an adult because your time becomes so much more limited, right? I guess the reason why I brought up weddings is because that's definitely one of the indicators if someone is somewhat important to you.
the
right?
how much shit do you mean to me list?
Yeah,
It's like,
a little
yeah,
bit,
it's
right?
crazy. And I'm in that industry.
Yeah.
There's a list, there's a B list.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes there's a C list. Like, oh, they can't make it. All right, time to hit up the B list.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, I'm just curious because outside of that, I don't feel like it's as black and white. I feel like weddings is a little bit more black and white, where it's like if you don't get an invite to a wedding, you could pretty much assume that you're not on a B, C, or D list. You know what I mean? Because I do understand there's a budget. And not all weddings are fucking huge. I know we're a little bit more accustomed to fucking like 200-300 person weddings. Some people like have 10 people weddings. You know what I mean? But in life outside of a wedding invitation, like what do you guys do to kind of analyze who's close to you and who's not? And what's like an indicator of that?
That's a really damn good question. I'll let Johnny start because yeah.
It's funny. I was thinking about it the whole time we were talking. I actually don't really care if I'm invited to a wedding or not. It's like if we're close, like in real life, I don't need to be invited to a wedding to know about your life and like how close I am as friends. Sometimes it's a money issue. Sometimes there's things behind closed doors that we don't know. maybe all their families matter first, and you just have to be like in the back of the list. That's fine. At least with me, it's because I don't really attach myself to how close people are if I'm invited to a wedding or not. That's just me though. It's like I've learned how to detach from things because I was always attached to things, even with my jobs, even with my passions. Once you attach yourself to something, it's always gonna be in the back of your mind. So in a way to like kind of, I guess, take the weight off your shoulders, like by thinking about that, it doesn't really matter if you're close to that person, like with like real friendships and like real like relationship, deep talks. That's all that really matters. Because the next time you talk to them and you're not as deep, that's where you got to worry.
What's your indicator, right?
Yeah,
If you had a wedding list, or regardless, if you had, I hate to
Like
say it,
if I was gonna get married or
if
something.
you had a peer ranking system,
yeah, because let's say
To be honest, if
what would give them 5 stars, a 10 out of 10?
that's the thing. Like literally, I would invite everybody on that list. Is like, if you go on the group meet, that list, everyone, I would want everybody on that list. Like I'm not even gonna fucking lie, but am I able to afford it? Because I feel like I'm actually really close to everybody. That's how I feel.
I feel
mean,
it.
Because I open myself up, vulnerable to everybody. But if I were to like really pick like 20 people,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even fucking do it because it does put me in that category of now I gotta pick my friends. That forces me to like put them in a situation like, am I on that list or not? I wouldn't want to put other people in that situation either. I know how it feels, but it fucking sucks. But you're forced in that, you're cornered in that situation, right? But on the flip side, if I didn't invite Peter for some fucking reason, how would he feel about it? What am I gonna say?
That'd be fucked up.
Like, what would I say? No, but right? Like, right?
Yeah.
But what if in that situation, like Peter wasn't fucking invited, but I had a really good reason, but he questioned it and he's like, "Damn, I'm not close to Johnny." But I feel like Peter knows that I'm pretty fucking close to Peter, dude.
See, that's the thing, though. Okay, so if let's just say I'm not invited to either of your weddings, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we would have a discussion, somewhat.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think you expect me to fucking read your mind and be like, "Oh, Johnny has like financial issues, or his parents don't like me or some shit." You know,
I
what I
don't
mean?
want a 91-cent gift.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I don't fucking know.
Hey, I need those 91 cents, man. Fuck. I need to save that.
But I feel like we would at least have
This
that
economy?
discussion. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
when the conversation is not there, the dialogue's not there. I heard this today. If you don't give a situation context, the person's gonna fill out that context for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Their own context.
Yeah. So, but let's scrap the whole wedding thing, right? Because obviously that's not an indicator for you. Even though I'd be shocked if you guys don't invite me. But what is your indicator? Because there has to be something. Because having deep and meaningful conversations,
Yeah.
That's
sometimes
actually a damn good question.
is not enough. You
That's
know what
a
I mean?
crazy question. So I actually agree with a lot what Johnny said.
Yeah.
Because I'm very big on energy, right?
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes, like I've met some of your friends where I'm like, yo, this person is cool as fuck. I've met them and saw them once. You know, I met them once. I saw them only once, but I remember them because, you know what I'm saying, we clicked or whatnot.
Yeah.
And, you know, I went back home and it's someone I haven't seen in decades. And it's like, yo, I remember you. Like, we don't ever talk. In high school, we only talked in the class we shared, but it was so, like, the energy was there.
Yeah.
So I remember you. So in regards to, I don't know, what'd you call it? It wasn't the ranking system. I fucking called it that. But
Let's say ranking system. but-
okay, I feel like the people would have to see me in different stages at least, right? Good and bad. Like, you know what I do good. You know
The whole
what
spectrum,
I've
dude.
succeeded in. You've seen me fail, but you're still rooting for me, you know, and obviously I do the same. But that's like a really, really good fucking question, right? Because whether I, you know, even back home and living here, I was just always on to the next project, the next event. I was always wanting to work. So I remember like catching myself at like 19, like, oh, you going out too much. You're kicking it too much.
Yeah.
Get back to the game plan, you know? So, you know, obviously I got my day ones, like, but again, even when I think about my day ones, it's like we've seen each other through different seasons, through different stages of our lives, the struggles, the success, you know what I'm saying? The triumph, the setbacks. Like, even if, yeah, it's not in a span of time like my friends back home, but if you kind of have something similar to that, I fucks with you heavy. Going back to what I said again, it's like it's hard for me to kind of answer your question because I've always been kind of extra introverted, like forever, right? So shit, I don't know because
Sounds like a lie, man. I don't know about that.
I see y'all. When y'all see me come out, it's kind of random as fuck, right? It's either like
Oh, Don's at home charging his
frequent,
battery.
or it's like months. Yeah, usually I'm recharging my fucking social batteries. Yeah, it's weird because I've been so like deep into what I want to accomplish and the work that I do. It's kind of hard for me sometimes to build close relationships now.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I grew up with you, and even if I got into whatever you do, like we know each other since we've known each other since we were kids, so I know what it is with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it don't matter about the like continuous building in a sense because we're already cool.
Yeah.
You know, you get me, I get you. But this day and age, it's like, yeah, I just, I keep to myself. And I still, you know what I'm saying? You see me, obviously, at the Feel Good functions. You see me come out once in a while because I fucks with y'all. But, man, I'm kind of stumped because I just feel like, and this is my fault, I don't really take the time out to kind of foster the growth or build the relationships that, maybe I could.
Yeah, but sorry. The reason why I want to say this was because let's again write off the whole wedding ranking fucking system, right? And even though you're introverted, you need to recharge your battery. Sooner or later, there's gonna be certain occasions that does arise where you kind of do have to think about others, right? Important people in your life, and how many occasions can you write off where let's say you're like Johnny, where you could disconnect things to where it's more like a red flag that like, oh, actually, we might have had a good exchange of energy, but it's really now that I can see all these things line up, maybe we aren't that close. Maybe you have to question it. So maybe it's not like a wedding, maybe it's like a housewarming party, right? That you weren't invited to. Maybe it's a birthday. You know what I mean? Things like that. Like the reason why and again, my idea of friendship is like very, very different than a lot of people's, right? My friendship is very conditional, extremely conditional, right? Like don't get me wrong, like we could be friends and not talk for years, right? Can we ever be extremely fucking close? No. Personally for me, no.
Yeah.
Because I have conditions, right? And the reason why I know this for a fact is I've had friends who have gone off to school and, like disappeared for years. Understandable, like that they can't talk to me all the time.
Yeah.
I get that. But when my baseline is like, and this is a true story, I had a friend who moved to Maryland for their doctorates. And whenever they would come back, they would literally just ghost and not even tell us that they're back, which, maybe they're going through their own shit. That's fucking fine. Right. Yeah. Again, I don't know what's going on. I'm not trying to figure that shit out. But every year I would send a text like, hey, happy birthday. Never a response back. I think at least out of respect, the bare minimum is to at least say thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that's me showing that I care at the bare minimum degree, just as a text. And I think when it's not reciprocated to certain points, like you kind of have to start to question certain things, right? Because exchange of energy moments, those things are part of the past, a memory that you might never forget. But like, where is it now? You know what I mean? Like if I wasn't invited to your birthday, you had a housewarming party I wasn't invited to, a wedding I wasn't invited to, you had a milestone in your life, I would start to second guess myself. I would be like,
I think that's where you kind of gauge it because like when it comes to energy and like friends and like I don't know how to fucking explain it, but it's like if you know, you fucking know, really. That's
I
that's
kind
like
of
an
feel
intuition
that too.
thing. Like you can't really explain. It's like if you
Yeah.
know, you know. That's all I gotta say. It's
But
like
I go with the energy.
it's
you
weird.
know,
Like
you guys
don't-
never
don't-
had anything that's like goes, okay, let's say you feel the energy and you're like,
I don't.
the energy's there, the
If
dynamic
it's
is
there,
cool.
if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, say it's
That's
there,
all.
right?
Yeah.
And then you guys don't really have that exchange again. And then these other like instances pop up in your life and then things like, again, monumental occasions, and you're not a part of it.
That's where you feel the energy fluctuate, and that's where you gauge. You gauge as you feel the energy kind of fluctuate. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like, do you guys have any instances
Indicated.
of that?
I could say I do, but I just learned, and especially where I'm at now, I don't take shit personal like that because we're all on our own journey. We all have our reasons, whether it's physical, you know what I'm saying, or it's I mean, we're all going through our own shit. So
Yeah.
whether it's not inviting somebody, a lack of communication, taking no action, not responding, and I think that I'm kind of leaning towards like I don't take it personal because sometimes shit I don't text people back. Like sometimes it's just like, yo, I'm trying to figure this shit out right now, and some of my closest friends know like, yo, like. Yeah, D's probably trying to figure it. They know when they see me, it's day one. Like, it's all love when you see me, but sorry if I'm quiet. I've just been trying to figure something out. Whether it's serious, if it's a project, it's personal, mental, whatever, but I just can't, as much as I would like to read everyone's mind and understand their reasoning and logic, I don't. Mm-hmm. So I just don't take it personal and I keep it pushing.
Damn, you guys are bigger men than I am, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being honest with you, like 100%. Like,
yeah,
there is to me a bro code, regardless of like how unbothered I want to be. You know what I mean? There is a certain fucking standard where I'm like, nah, that's kind of like crossing the line, or you're just not doing enough.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not in a sense, well, if you take it as disrespect, it's different, right? But
have you guys had the instance of disrespect like that?
Bro code disrespect, yes, but let's not get to that.
Bro code disrespect or no invitation disrespect? He said we're not talking about weddings, but let's talk about you didn't get invited to
there's some shit.
Invitation bro code
because you guys are so zen about it. I want to hear.
Look.
When have you guys felt like that?
Cool, because I know like Peter, you're a really logical person.
Yeah,
and you're not like I'm not gonna say you're not in tune with your emotions. Mm-hmm. I know you are, but for it to like translate logically to emotionally, you gotta think about it psychologically. Put it that way.
Okay.
So like when he's explaining like I don't what do you call it? It's called attachment. When you attach yourself to like let's say like you attach yourself to this person in a higher end of like the friendship, but it's not equal to the other side. I'm not gonna say it's your fault, but it's because you saw that like friendship in like a higher like pedestal than they did. But the thing is like you focus on that because that's what stuck to you the most, right? But when they fluctuate away, you never saw the energy fluctuate that way, and you kept it there. So the reciprocation, the way they reciprocated towards you, is the way they would reciprocate on their terms.
Are you calling Peter clingy?
No. No.
Are you calling him dependent?
Actually, in a way, kind of. Clingy as in like attaching himself.
Yeah.
Maybe to like a memory.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was a good time of my life where like we shared that memory. And that's what stuck to him, right? It's like, I'm always going to remember that. Even though life went on, it's still there.
Yeah.
Maybe to others like, oh, I'm dealing with life. And like that memory just faded away. And like they don't see that friendship in that pedestal where he saw it. So in reciprocation, like, oh, damn, that kind of hit me a little bit.
You know what? That like this whole conversation damn near got me feeling like hella self-absorbed. Because I don't care. Like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I'm just that self-absorbed to where it's like, okay, it's all good.
Coming from though, right? Isn't it true?
Yeah, no.
Without thinking too much, it's like that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to think about what I just explained. It's like that's just how it goes.
And FYI, like, other than a couple people, like, no one's been in my house. You've been there once, I think, to pick something up.
That's it.
You dropped me off, like, and that's for no reason other than, oh, I'm just coming home to my sanctuary to chill after work, after a gig or whatever. So if I've never invited you over, like no one gets to invite.
See, that's different though. That's exactly what I'm stating is like.
But if I had a housewarming party,
yeah. If you had a fucking gathering where you actually had to think, because your examples are, you know what, I'm too busy, I don't have time to think. That means you don't have time to think of anyone. But if you have time to think about like 20, 30, let's say you have a fucking party of 100 people and I wasn't invited, I would be like, damn, I didn't even know if Don was close to 100 people like that.
He had
would make me
100
question
family
things.
members.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if Don is close to 100 family members, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Maybe not his family or her family. I don't know.
That's true.
You
but
never really know.
There are certain instances where it does require you to, let's say you're going to have a fucking housewarming party.
Yeah.
You're going to have to think about people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't like a thought of yours to invite someone that you deem as close to you, then sometimes maybe you got to question, like, is that really the case? And vice versa, right? And again, maybe I'm just fucking clingy. Who knows?
I'm fucking with
Or
you,
maybe
dude.
we're just thinking too deep. Maybe it's just very that surface level. I don't know. I'm not saying that's a surface level question, but it's like, let's say everybody was invited, but you're not. Then it'll be more like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
Or it's
Yeah,
just
that's
like
what I'm saying.
a defense mechanism. Maybe Johnny and I both have to where
No,
it's
I was
like
about to say it is a defense mechanism.
Yeah, it's kinda
Detaching
like-
yourself till what? So that you don't get disappointed. So then you don't have to like think about, oh, that's some shit I don't need to think about. But it saves us a lot of fucking headache and a lot of like, oh man, I'm with my filios.
And I was telling Peter earlier, like one of my good friends too.
But we still got all love. Like
He you know, he didn't invite me to his wedding, and then when I seen him a few months before, he was like, "Yo, I meant to ask you about this month, this weekend, and see what you're doing, but I figured you'd be busy." And then he told me the date, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm busy. I'm gonna be out of town. Like, sorry." He's like, "I figured." So I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, it's all good because that's what he's thinking."
That could be the scenario too.
Yeah, and that's what he was thinking. And what if it's not like? But with this whole conversation, it's actually been my kind of goal for next year is to communicate and be more personable to these beautiful relationships God has blessed me with.
Be present.
Dude, facts. Yeah. That's like being present is what I struggle
Literally,
with. Most.
sometimes just being present says more than it fucking needs to.
Being
That's
present,
why when you're there, I'm like, oh fuck, Don's here. I gotta go.
Like,
you don't have to fucking say anything. I just know when you're there, I'm there. Like that's just how it goes.
Right on,
I don't have
man.
to fucking question that. If he was like, hey, Donovan's there, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go out.
Yeah, and I feel like I've struggled with it. And people say, live in the now, be present. Yeah. So much easier said than done. And, you know, with this conversation, it just reminds me like, yo, D, like, people love you. You got supporters. Like, you know, like, nourish that relationship, you know, and cherish it. I do cherish it, but, you know, I'm so caught up in doing whatever I'm trying to do, whatever that's
There's only
caused
one
by.
of you, and you're so fucking human. It's like, there's
Yeah.
so many things you want to be present for, but it's like, I need to be present for my fucking self. That's a more important thing. It's like, if you're not present for yourself, you can't be present for anybody else.
Yeah.
Or anything else.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. And it's not so much more as like, I'm not allowing you to have your time. And I'm speaking about me, right? But if I see
Forgot
you,
about Peter again. Fuck.
yeah.
Just letting you know, you're
if I
invited,
see
though.
you show up for everyone else but me, I'm gonna be like, yo, something is fucking going on. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like, oh, I don't got time because I'm fucking busy, and you show up to every fucking event, every fucking birthday there is, I'm gonna start fucking questioning it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, I've had memories, really good memories, and like conversations with people that I'll never ever see again. And I'll cherish that for what it is. You know what I mean? I live in like the now. Maybe that's what I would say. You know, that's why I'm conditional, because like, if you're no longer serving that condition, you know, and all I have is memories of it, that doesn't tell me if we're currently still in the same kind of like friendship that we had prior, you know? I've definitely had a lot of friends through the years. I've also grown apart from a lot of people, and I've come to understand that. And what I do now is I take a look at my actions and I'm like, does it match with what I'm saying about these people? You know what I mean? If I call you a close friend, personally for me, this is just the standard that I uphold myself to, and I don't expect that back. Like, if you're my close friend, I will text you for your birthday. You know what I mean? If I don't forget, you know what I mean? And if I do forget, trust me, like I'll say happy belated whenever I remember, whether it's like a month later or whatever. And if it is like a day about you or anything they need to, or like if you just need someone to like talk to, I'll make sure to fucking be there. You know what I mean? And that is my own standard for my friends, because I would not be able to call you that otherwise. I was like, yeah, we're either acquaintances or like, yeah, we're cool. But like, I'm not gonna call you. So
you only
a close
do that
friend.
with close friends, or just there's like a?
I'm pretty
sure there's like a wide range though.
The reason why I talked about age is because at this point in my life, I actually don't have enough time for other people's bullshit.
Yeah.
And what I mean by other people is people who are not my close friends, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, if you guys call me, I'll be there because you guys are my close friends, and that's why I give you guys that label. You know
The
what I
thing
mean?
is, I would never even question it, even if you weren't my close friend, like other, like vice versa.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even question it because that's just the person you are.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like you said, close friends or friends in general, it's conditional,
Yeah.
like all the way through. But you said like your standard, you would do this, no questions asked. That's unconditional. So you attach yourself unconditionally by your standards to conditional friends.
Oh, yeah, of course, 100%. Yeah.
So you're expecting in a terms like in some sort of terms like you have an unconditional standard with friends that are conditional.
Yeah.
I sounds like I need a friend ranking spreadsheet.
So, on this podcast, we talk about mental health a lot,
Okay.
right? And this is more of a question for you, Don. But obviously, I want to hear Johnny's opinion too. Out of the three of us, you're the only person who goes to see therapy. Right?
It's been a minute, but yeah.
Yeah. But you actually seeked it. Like, at what point were you like, damn, maybe I should try this shit out?
Good question, and it's been almost a year since I last went, but on my December 2023 goal list, it is to get back into therapy. But it's just I at the time I had a lot of anxiety, and being on the grind since I was a kid, dancing, doing music, events and all that. I was kind of used to the adrenaline, the anxiety, the stress. It was easy, but there was a time where I was like, shit, I think it's taking a toll on me. And a lot of people kind of reset their, whether you want to call it depression or anxiety levels, from job to job, from gig to gig, from project to project, but until they feel that kind of validation or success, they're living in a state of constant anxiety, fear, depression, excuse me. And I felt it just kind of, I couldn't figure it out. Like, why do I feel like this? Is it because I'm drinking a lot? Is it because I'm not getting any sleep? Is it because, how my mind is kind of framed and how I look at, so on and so forth. I was just getting tired, and, thank God that, not just my mentors and my close friends, but, mainstream media was bringing up mental health, and, I was like, oh, this is dope. Like, oh shoot, my benefits that I never use could cover therapy. Why not, right? Because I've had personal trainers before at the gym. I have a couple gym memberships, so I'm trying to stay in shape. I'm reading books. I'm hustling to get straight financially. But what am I doing for my mind? You know what I'm saying? Mind, body, soul, wallet, peace, purpose, paper, however you want to categorize, it. Okay, I could get therapy. That's like a personal trainer for my brain. Shit. Why the fuck not? It can only help. And that's really why I did it. I just wanted, to make sure like I was at least aware and doing my best to be in tip-top shape mentally. That's really why.
Because for me, this is just me being ignorant 100%. I've always had the mindset like, yeah, whatever it is, I can figure out on my own, and therefore I don't seek help. But I do 100% agree with normalizing like therapy. It's not like what people perceive it as negative, like, oh, something's wrong with you or some shit like that. Yeah. But I'm trying to reframe my mindset as like, I already know there are things that I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But is there something that you've learned from therapy that you think that we could implement without having to see a therapist? Because maybe I'm just being fucking, I don't know. I'm trying to fucking skip it. I don't know. Maybe that's why. But like, I'm always trying to like learn how to do it without having to go seek it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just answer this or answer your question, excuse me, in regards to, and this is just my personal opinion. It's like I'm not a mental health
Of course.
expert, right? I had to put that disclaimer out there.
No, you guys know.
But at least for me, in order to get better or to improve, I should say, to improve, right? Yeah, there's all these motivational posts, whether it's text or a video or a picture with a quote on Instagram. We could reshare. I still reshare it. The shit that's like inspiring to me,
Yeah.
right? I could vent to you. I could vent to you. What up, Vin? Vin's
could roast
behind the
me.
camera. You know, I could vent to him. I could read all the self-improvement, self-help books out there, you know, but if I'm not taking action, you know, like when those triggers and trials are presented again, then going back to what we were saying and leveling up, how are we leveling up if we continue to fail that trial? Like, where is the growth? One, yeah, I'll get. If you're aware, I'll still give you props. That's still credit that's earned for you being aware of why you have those triggers, right? Or you know why you're more aware now why you feel a certain way. But what therapy taught me was like, okay, we're gonna talk about this, and I'm gonna try, or my therapist said, I'm gonna try to understand it, maybe enlighten you, whether it's most of the time it's factual or it's things that he studied in school, or maybe it's personal. I don't know what the ratio was. I would like to say it was more, you know, things that he's learned that he studied, I'd hope.
All opinions.
There's work to be done for self-improvement. It's just not having a yes man. It's just not reading or reposting an inspirational quote. Because yeah, being aware is one thing, but changing the way you react and internalizing it differently goes a long way. Because life is what? To me, it's thoughts, it's actions, and time. Our actions come from our thoughts. Depending if we react quick, that's the time we have. If it's a project or if it's a game plan, that's time. Life is thoughts, action, and time. Yes. Regardless of, you know what I'm saying? It's a second, years, decades, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would just say there's physical, if it's not physical, there's actions to take place for the growth of your mental health. Okay, I understand I'm fucked up because of this, you know, this person, this experience, that experience. Okay, how do we grow from that? Reacting the same damn way that arises, not decluttering your mind. Maybe you got to compartmentalize a lot more. Maybe you need to, you know, stop expecting people to dance around your triggers. You know, that's just what I would say. Okay, for someone that maybe could save the time, money. If you have benefits from your job, you could get therapy at no out-of-pocket cost. If you have fucking Medi-Cal, it's free too. I see people that want to go to therapy and they have Medi-Cal, and I'm like, you know, and I'm not knocking Medi-Cal is great if you have it, you know, but it's like, oh, they've entertained the idea, but they haven't, right? And to be honest, therapy is not end all be all. Like straight up, it's not. It's just something to add to your self-help, to self-improvement. Books, mentors, good people to talk to, you know, everything. You know, 3 times a day I have this acronym called RPM. It's not revolutions per minute, it's read, pray, meditate. I do that for 15 minutes 3 times a day, right? But it's just something to add to try to make yourself better mentally. You could only do so much with talking. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you right now, if we're talking about breaking or we're talking about training, oh, I want to train. I want to get better at shooting pictures or videos. I want to get in shape. Yeah. I want to do this. And obviously there's bigger issues than just being in shape. That was just a very surface level example. But Yeah, I mean, you got to take action, and it's a very slow pace, right? Self-improvement, because now we're trying to unravel issues that sometimes started when we were like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't even say a toddler,
because
early,
that's swept
early.
under the
You know
rug.
what I'm saying? It gets swept under the rug. So I'm not even going to say I'm going to 180 from my trauma and these deep rooted issues, insecurities, whatever it is, but I'm trying to get better. And if I'm not being aware with applying action, then growth is going to take even longer. That's all.
Exactly.
So to answer your question, just take some action on top of, you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
being aware.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
I actually want to go off of what Donovan was saying. Like even before taking action, well, I'm not gonna be all like, "Oh, boo hoo, this is where I came from," blah blah blah. But it's like I've dealt with all that crap when I was like younger, you know, and I had no one to talk to. Like, I didn't understand any of these feelings that I felt back then. It was all internalized. But the only way for me to get out of that hole was to climb out, right? And it's like, oh, people are always talking about like, oh man, I'm like drowning. I'm like blah blah blah. But it's like, well, you need to learn how to drown first before you can kind of fucking swim, right? Kind of things. Like, you learn how to swim, cool. If you drown, then you learn, then you're gonna stay afloat. That's the only way to fucking learn. And that was the thing. Like before I even took action, I had to analyze like myself, like how I felt, why I felt that way, like what was the situation, what was my trigger. I had to like break everything down internally. Like I had to talk to myself. And that's just hard. It's like you have to remove yourself and then analyze yourself. It's like third person is like you're kind of critiquing yourself and kind of figuring out what the fuck did I do? Why did I feel this way? When you learn how to like pull yourself out and actually look at it, it sounds fucking weird. But that's how I got through a lot of the shit that I went through. Because things like once you learn from it one time, it never fucking happens again because you know how to maneuver through it. That's why like when I fail or like when I feel a certain way, I never fucking feel that way again because you know how to, maneuver around it. You know how to like, oh, I know this familiar feeling is not gonna happen again, and it actually fucking works when you know that feeling, what you did wrong, or like you know how to like literally see it as it comes. You just fucking feel it. Maybe I'm just more in tune of how I feel about certain
Which
things.
in a sense, like I totally agree with you. But unfortunately, there are people that don't have that awareness, right? Like that
I didn't know about
situation,
that shit either. Like I really had to like sit down and like figure that shit out. And it
that
took
that
me fucking forever.
like sometimes that feeling of failure, and even if it gets continuous, become habitual for people and normal, right? So I'm not against venting to your friends. I'm definitely not like straight up. Sometimes you just need a vent, right? But when you're only around yes men that won't say, "Yo, Donovan, Peter, this is user error." Like, quit feeling bad about yourself and blaming people. Like, this is user error. You are the fucking reason why you're feeling like this. Your decisions and your actions are making you feel like this. Like, and I'm not saying a therapist is going to say that, or you need a friend to say that, but in a sense, you kind of need that, whether it's blunt, straight up, or it's kind of, massaged into the conversation. You need different insight. And I had a friend that was like, why am I going to therapy and going to tell this dude I don't even know my problems? And I'm like, oh, so you're going to tell your cousin that's in the same boat as you know what I'm saying? Your problems, who has no advice or insight to give you how to get better because y'all in the same boat.
True.
It's who
So
you surround yourself with.
yeah, so
definitely.
and then like have mentors in everything you want to succeed in. Whether that's being a creative, whether that's like, financially, emotionally, spirit. Like I know people with mentors in like every part of their life that they want to grow in, right? They have a spiritual mentor, they have a money mentor, they have, different mentors. And they damn near could be therapists too. Like I'm not saying, oh, well, I have a mentor, I don't need to go to therapy. No, maybe you need to do both, or maybe you don't. Actions are very important, and along with the awareness when those situations arise again. And I know we're in December, and I will just say this, like I should have texted y'all, I didn't. But November was men's mental health awareness, and I will just say like, yo, it's good. Like it's fine to go to therapy. Like it doesn't make you less of a man. I'm still a motherfucking Mac. No, I'm playing. But it, and I know in the climate of like the social climate we're in now, right? And I'm all for it, and I respect the other movements. But let's be real, as a man needing to be the breadwinner, needing to be, in a sense, what we think, right? Like people are like machismo, needing to, never act like a bitch. Like there's a lot of shit that we just kind of keep to ourselves. There's a lot of burdens we don't like to show people because we're raised to kind of be like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm gonna bring home this money. I'm gonna take care of my family. I'm gonna try to reach my goals and live my dreams. And it's kind of No, I wouldn't say it's taboo, but you feel like it's not encouraged to talk about your feelings and, like, you know what I'm saying, be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with shit, you're like, oh man, I don't want to deal with it. And you sweep it under the rug. It just piles up, right?
Oh yeah.
You're supposed to like take it face on. You're supposed to figure out the problems as it comes, right? So the thing is, like, you have a lot of problems and like you feel a bunch of things, you don't want to say anything. Mm-hmm. That's being weak, actually. That's being weak. Like so. You have no, like, oh, I'm afraid to look like a pussy. I'm afraid to look weak as like a man, right? But you're actually supposed to talk about it to show how weak you are.
Yeah.
I'll put that in quotes. But it's because, like, I guess it's like a social stigma, right? It's like, oh man, like this man has like a problem. This dude has like a problem. It's like, I mean, if you keep your mouth shut, you're gonna break.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you the bitch.
Yeah.
When you actually look like one, when you like lash out, when you like don't know how to handle your emotions.
Yeah, and because I'm a big believer in, like, being poised, right, and not losing your composure. Like, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
But if it comes from a healthy place, right, because you're comfortable, because you're aware, and I'm not saying don't stick up for yourself. No, there's a time and place you got to turn up, like, depending on the situation. But acting like or reacting in a way that, like, could lead quickly to a physical altercation, if it's coming from, like, oh, you just aren't, like, in control of your emotions, that to me looks weak, right?
It's literally like putting up that facade that you can handle it and you got it like that when you really don't. And then, like, behind closed doors, you go home and cry about it.
You're like dying inside.
Yeah, it's like, why? You gotta act tough. Just fucking be tough. Like, man it up and figure it out, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and
that's
I'm not here to talk about women's mental health. Not because I don't care. I'm just
Yeah.
not a woman, so therefore I'm not gonna speak for them.
Facts.
One day, once we get a guest that's female, and we have had female guests, but someone who's gonna be diving deeper into like women's mental health, we'll get to that point. But I do agree, with the social climate nowadays, it is very different. I mean, it's always been fucking different, to be honest. There is a distinguishable like characteristic that's what men go through that women don't go through. It's not trying to be sexist or anything like that. But going back to like sweeping things under the rug, there's so many different metaphors for it, like for me it was always putting more shit on my plate, because that's kind of like the meaning of being a man, like stacking shit up, filling your plate until it's like fucking full, and then you take things off as you finish it, only to put more stuff on, and I think that's always been the assumption of what you need to do as a guy, and and not bitch about it,
Yeah.
right, and not fucking be like, no, this actually kind of fucking sucks,
Yeah, no, I hear it.
Only until this year would I say that I'm starting to take more things off than I put back on, because I think especially for us, we try to take on a lot of things because we like that control. But then we do too much, you lose control of yourself. You know what I mean? Because now I just think about what's really the best. Is it really good for me to be doing all this fucking shit and like handling everything? No, I actually talked to my cousin right before this. I was like, you know what? I don't know what's wrong with me, but the past couple months I feel like I haven't been doing things correctly. If I'm Like I feel like I'm not thinking straight. I'm not quite all there. Mental clarity isn't there, and I just came to terms with the fact that I'm really burnt out. I am like really fucking burnt out. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's rare, dude.
Yeah, but it was because like I couldn't really admit that to myself.
Yeah. Burnout's real.
Yeah,
It's
like
fucking real. Or
yeah.
you've been burnt out and you know what I'm saying? You drive a Honda. You and the Honda could run on fumes for hella long, you know, and you might already have been burnt out. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not a mental health expert, but yeah, burnout's real.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I feel like I'm not performing to the best of my capabilities. Not even close. Not even like 50%. And I had to figure out where it's coming from, you know. And I think now I'm just like owning up to it because before I didn't want to own up to it because it sounds like I failed. And now it's more like, oh, there's a problem. Like, let me figure it out. Versus like, it's not a failure. It's just like a bump in the road. Like, let me figure this out. And that's why I say with like mental health, it's something that, you know, that's why I talk to you about therapy. Because even you can see the reluctancy in my voice when I said, like, oh, like, give me advice what you get from a therapist. Therefore, I don't have to go.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to avoid it. But really, I know it's good. I know it's good. You know what I mean? It's like there are people who know what you know what you need to do. You just don't fucking do it. And again, I think you're really good at what you do by not being a yes man. You could tell by how many times you roast Johnny and shit like that. Like that in itself is like that's a admirable trait. You know what I mean? Like, cause dude, you need friends like that. You mean that's gonna tell you that because yes men, they're not good for you. You know what I mean? Like you need people who are actually looking out for the best of you. And I think that's what a therapist, I wouldn't say wants for you. That's what they're paid to do for you. And sometimes you don't have friends that can do that for you. You know what I mean?
And I think, again, going back to what I said, whether it's therapy or something you're reading or shit, maybe some legit advice someone you know is giving you, there has to be a follow up. You know, there
100%.
has to be action. Okay, like and I mean it when I say therapy is not end all be all. Because if you're not taking action from therapy, from the book, shit, if you're not taking action from that Instagram post that you reshared, like, where's the growth? You know? But, you know, like, how do you feel mentally, or what's on a scale from 1 to 10, where do you feel your mental health is right now?
Damn, dude. If you asked me this, I talked to Johnny about it. If you asked me this, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, man, it was in the ditches, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was fucking terrible,
It was
man.
in the point something.
Yeah. Not even like a solid one, you know?
Yeah.
And like,
That was actually a good conversation we had at Om.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
when we
was.
walked out.
There's
At
something.
all.
Oh, we
was
did some
great.
work. We did some work, and then we
Yeah,
talked about
yeah.
that, and then it was something I asked him because I kind of what do you call it?
Man, that's dope, y'all. Regardless, it's just, I think it's dope, and I'm not smiling to demean anyone, but it's like you're at and
It was
but
after
it's
work.
dope.
It was
It's
after
dope,
work.
But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sometimes things just come out, you know. But
Yeah.
Burnt
Was
out.
at a point.
Did-
yeah,
like,
I was
point
I was
something.
feeling burnt out. Oh, I know. Like, I think
Everything was
that-
coming at once.
yeah, everything's happening at once, and I just felt like so depleted. But you know, I've always been a person that thinks like, oh, I could figure it out. And that was the first time I felt like, damn, actually don't know what the fuck to do. And
Yeah.
really enough, I don't think I told anyone this. Like, I was like by myself, and like I felt like crying. Like I felt like crying. I was like, damn, it should be coming, and it didn't come out. And I was like, damn, this is so fucking weird. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
your defense mechanism. Like your body knows. It's
know.
because you probably held it back for so long. It's automatic. Like when you feel it, it cuts off. Am I right?
I don't know, dude. Because like I've definitely shed some tears here and there, but like I just felt like I need to break down real quick. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And I didn't, but you know, the more I talked about it and expressed like how I felt, and you know, luckily my friends are very, you know, sympathetic or empathetic towards like how I feel, and they just kind of
Yeah.
notice like, oh, yo, something's fucking off. You know what I mean? Like something's wrong. So, you know, people would ask, and you know, it's not like it's weird. I'm at a point in my life where it's like, they say no one's really thinking too much about you because everyone's got their own shit to fucking worry
Yeah.
about.
Like the people that didn't invite you.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I'm playing.
Exactly.
But yeah.
And because of that, I'm like, damn, I don't want to fucking burden them with the fucking things that I'm going through. So therefore, I
Wait,
just
who the
keep
fuck
it to
said that
myself.
though?
What
Who
do you
said
mean?
who said
But
that?
I get what he's saying.
It's
though.
just a quote.
Oh,
that
Yeah,
people say.
okay, I
yeah,
was like-
no.
Yeah, it's just a quote people say.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's true though. I mean, people do have a lot of shit on their own plate. You know what I mean? Everyone has their own lives to live. So therefore, I didn't want to burden anyone. And I felt like it's funny because during that time, when I was with my friends, like you guys, like I would feel the impulse to say it, but nothing would come out. It's really weird. It's like it almost feels like it was like inappropriate.
Like you don't want to be a party pooper.
Yeah, I want to be a party pooper. I didn't want to fucking bring down the vibe. I didn't want to make it about me. Shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that is like a, men's mental health type of thing. Like,
Yeah,
to not
yeah.
do that, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if this will kind of help you at all, but when you can't figure it out, well, there's a couple things I want to say about that. When you can't figure out, you feel stuck or whatnot, or you feel like shit, I'm about to eat some shit and never recover. My therapist brought it up. He's like, okay, you feel like this? Show me the proof that you stayed stuck forever. Show me the proof that you never bounced back from the adversity. Show me proof that you fucking just every negative thing that you thought of, every situation like you catastrophize came to reality. Like, show me the proof that you haven't grown from the shitty situations you went through. And I was like, interesting. Like, there is none, right? So I know it's a little different, right? Because and everyone has their own beliefs. Like, I'm a believer, and like, what I don't even want to say that. That's already like sounds demeaning. But like, I have a certain set of beliefs, and it's like, yo, God's never left me out to dry. But here I am doubting. Oh my God, I'll never get out of this. No, I've been in some pretty shitty situations, and still seen the light. And the crazy thing is, right? I know I see you. Sometimes I'll see you like multiple times a week. Sometimes I won't see you for months. But one thing I admire about you, and it might not be what it seems because I'm like, damn, Peter's so poised. His mental bearing's so good. He doesn't fucking lose his shit. Like, I feel like I'm poised, but I feel like I would lose my shit a lot quicker than you, And that just goes to show, like, shit, mental health, like, that's what I think on the surface.
Yeah.
But actually, like, I'm going through it right now. I'm just that, I guess you could say, selfless.
I'm going to therapy. I was kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, because for me, it was like, I don't have a doubt in my mind that I could get myself out of something. And this was like, and this is something I preach all the fucking time. And
Yeah.
to not practice what I preach, I might be a
It
hypocrite.
happens. It happens.
Like, obviously, you control what you can and don't worry about the things that you can't. But, just to be completely transparent, like, a lot of it had to do with my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
That's hard.
to me, I was just like, damn, what can I do to change this? And I've talked about it in the podcast, and gambling is an addiction that could easily be way worse than any kind of fucking drug. And I can't figure it out. I still can't figure it out. Just to be fucking honest. I
Yeah.
still can't figure it out. I don't fucking know what to do, but I don't feel as hopeless. Like, I actually feel better now. My mental health is probably like at 5 out of 10 right now. You know what I mean? And
That's a F. No,
that is an F. It's not.
F or feel good.
I'm not passing
better.
yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not quite out of it yet. But it's progress. I noticed that. That to me means a lot more than being good all the fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just knowing that I'm like getting out of it. Like, I don't feel like I'm in quite such of a funk right now. But I feel as my mental clarity gets a little bit better, like I'll figure it out. I'm not exactly sure what it is, and I'm always a person that always says, like, I don't have the fucking answers. I don't know all the answers, but I'll figure it out. I think at that time though, I really felt like this is something I'm not very good at, is being hopeful. When you mention God and stuff like that, there's hope. right? I mean, there's this faith that you have that is get pushed you through. For me, I'm not, I guess I wouldn't say like pessimistic, but I'm not gonna hope for things, you know.
Yeah.
For me, it's like let me
And I
take action,
respect
let me
it
figure
too.
this
Yeah,
shit
and
out.
I respect that too.
You know, and that was a time where it's weird. Like I felt like I need to be hopeful when there wasn't any, you know. And I had to change my tune of like thinking like it's okay to be like optimistic and hopeful in things that you don't know. You know what I mean? Like it'll pan out. How? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I just believe that it will now, you know, and that change has helped me get past that hump for now. You know, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of fucking things because my life isn't hard. I'm not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm not getting sugarcoated, but it's not hard either. You know, it could be way fucking worse.
Or everybody has their fucking own struggles.
Yeah.
No matter where your parents are from, how they raised you, your parents' financial situation, your finance, like, I think everybody like has their own struggles, you know,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
and you know, and I'm not disagreeing with you saying your life isn't hard, but you know, if it feels like it, or you can't, it feels weird to kind of, you feel like you're comparing it to other problems, so therefore you feel like, oh, I'm being ungrateful because I feel my life is hard, but compared to this, like, you know, everyone has struggles.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and I think, shit, that shit is hard. You know, with what you're going through,
Yeah.
and especially with family, that shit is weird.
Yeah. Cause I don't know. To me, it's something I can't control, you know, especially parents, dude. Like, what the fuck?
And even though you're not literally attached, mentally, emotionally, you are attached,
I
right?
was just gonna say that's
Invested.
the only attachment that you can't detach, even if you wanted to.
I've seen some people do it.
Yeah, some
I'm not
people like
saying
to
do
it.
it.
like
Yeah.
in his situation.
And I know somebody close to me that's in the same situation.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like legally, I could say fuck you. Like legally, I could just be like,
Yeah.
I'm out. Like these problems are your problems, too much for me.
Yeah.
Right. But we actually care, and we love people. And man, that shit is sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And dude, I'm just glad that I have friends like to talk to because
Yeah.
honestly, that's really what I needed.
It's so hard.
It sucks that I got to a point where I couldn't speak up about it. Mm-hmm. Where I had to, like, I needed actually someone to ask.
And you know what's even crazier now, as positive as I'm trying to be, I'm not trying to like focus on the negative at all, is how when it comes to family and whether it's problems like this or health problems or whatever, because of that attachment, you know, and the attachment is it's like rightfully so, you could accomplish something, you could come up on like millions of dollars, you could do this, but that doesn't fix the issues involving your family. No. You know, and it's like fuck that it's sticky. Yeah, it's fucked up, and you know, and again, this sounds cliche, but like you said, everything's been a blur, right?
Yeah.
With the last few months, and you know, I've been there, and this year, to be honest, this whole year has been a fucking blur to me. And I'm at a point, you know, coming to the end of the year, I'm really trying to like recalibrate and trim the fat off shit I need to do and not do for 2024. And this is when, my situation probably doesn't relate to yours as much. It's like when people say 1 foot at a time, like sometimes that's all you can do and it's fine. But for like, this last month, I've been moving like literally like, you know, like step by step, 1 day at a time. 1 day at a time might even be too fast where I'm at mentally. But I've noticed like during my own struggles, moving like that, I get to cherish the things that I just overlooked the rest of the year. Right? When everything's going good. Everything's just popping. I'm so spoiled. I'm getting blessing after blessing after blessing. And whether it's a real issue or it's something I'm internalizing to feel like an issue, like taking it step by step, man, has really been helpful, and I get to enjoy things a little more. Again, everybody's different, and I'm not trying to, sound narcissistic and it's about me, because it's not. But sometimes seasons fly by, and shit. Sometimes you really got to go step by step, and that's all good.
Yeah.
Because shit, this is in a weird fucking way. This will help us grow, and this will level us up. Do we wish we could level up without going through this? Fuck yeah.
Oh, you never will though. If you,
Yeah, sure.
But as
Necessary
always,
evil.
you will fucking conquer the issues as you always have. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but we always do.
but you always do,
Yeah.
and when you don't get it, and sometimes we will never understand why, man. And this is as of recent, I just really just one step. Okay, cool. I'm good with the steps. Every minute, okay, I'm cool. Every hour, every day, until I get some clarity.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's solid advice, to be honest. And I think that's really what I've been doing is just, again, when I was going through it, I was just thinking about, whoa, look at all these fucking problems.
And you put everything together, right?
Yeah.
I was just
Attachment
about to say,
everything.
it's like
It's so fucked up.
it's
Dude.
keeping the scale from
Yeah.
tipping by like putting in a little bit of positivity to kind of balance out
Yeah.
the shitty day or week. It's like
Yeah.
if it's step by step, you kind of see everything step by step. You figure out little things at a time to make that load a little better.
Yeah. It's,
For your
kinda
day,
weird.
week.
Yeah, you like sometimes you shouldn't see the bigger picture right away. You know what I mean? Sometimes you should just dial in,
That's
tackle
when you
a
put
problem
all
at
the
a
food
time.
on your plate.
and then slowly you'll get there. But what I was doing was I was looking at the bigger picture, and I was
You're
like,
oh, yeah.
Fuck, I feel
holy
defeated.
fuck, what the
Yeah.
hell do I do? Where do I go
Yeah.
first? How do I navigate this? I was like, oh shit, I have problems with this, problems with this, problems with this. Like, what am I gonna fucking do? And I also do understand, aside from the family shit, like I do put myself in these situations. You know what I mean? I could do less, but no, I chose to do more. And this is, where I'm at, and learning that you don't have, just because you have a lot on your plate doesn't mean you have to tackle everything all at once. And that's really helped me get from a 0.7 to a 5 right now.
Yeah.
And no, I feel like a lot better. I'm sure after this, even day by day, really, that's how I've been handling it. It's really been all about the progress.
Yeah.
And I could actually pay attention to that, because I'm not looking at like, oh shit, how far do I have to go? It's just like, oh, did I make a little bit of progress today? That's really what matters.
But each of those problems is its own scale. And you
Yeah.
break it down like that. It's
It
like,
really
oh,
is.
you kind of bounce out each of them one at a time.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier for the because you look at the bigger scales, like, fuck, that's a lot to like keep it from tipping. But when you see each problem as like a different scale, it's like, oh, fuck. And then everything kind of evens out a little bit better.
Yeah.
Then you know which to attack and prioritize.
Yeah, and it also helps too, because if you take things one at a time, you just free up energy to tackle some of the harder things. Like, to me, I think I've talked about this with some of the guys, like having small wins really fucking help. I think that's really one of the biggest things that contributed to me feeling better, was just having small wins that I could achieve like right at the beginning of my day. To some people, I know Adam says all the times, like, I make my bed, and that's like, like a small win. Some people are like, what the fuck you don't make, but to some people, like, that starts off their day. That starts off their routine in the right direction to where they can do other shit, and now for me, it's like, yeah, let me, like, I struggle with this a lot, right? Because like with my work, it's whenever a fucking client reaches out, right? It could be like fucking at midnight. It could be at 4 a.m., and I've just recently learned with work that could be 24 fucking 7 to like stop myself from getting right into it if my mind is not right. So now in the mornings, like, I'll focus on the things that gets my mind right first, even though I struggle with it, to be honest. Like, sometimes I'll wake up and I'm like, fuck, like 10 emails. Let me get to the emails, but I'm not thinking straight already. But now I'm like, oh, I have the urge to like respond and get straight to work. But I'm like, I know though, in order to set my day off right, I need to, well, for me personally, like, I'll journal about shit, right? I'll write shit out. And it's weird. Like, it's just such a mindset shift. Like, now I start off my day with, like, if you look at my journals, the first entry is like yesterday's highlights. And it's like the littlest shit, like, ate good food yesterday. Got to hang out with my friend, had a nice cup of coffee. Nothing crazy, but that starts my day off right. Just appreciating what I had done the day before.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is like the things that I'm grateful for, right? Like,
Because you don't think about those things.
No, you don't.
Focus on
You
all
don't.
the L's and like all the
yeah.
yeah.
The things that are like fucking beaming at you in the face, right? Like this fucking phone with like all these work
Yeah.
emails and shit. Like, oh shit, like the loan's going wrong or some shit. And you're like, fuck, dude. But really, if you're not dialed in, like you probably wouldn't make the right decisions and the fires just could keep on burning anyways. Yeah, I'm slowly starting to understand that. Like, do the things that you could take care of first. You know, there's this rule of thumb that someone said, I forget who, I don't want to say it wrong, but basically if it's something that you can do that helps you out and it takes like less than a fucking like minute, just do it.
Do it, yeah.
Just do it. So now it's like I try to really focus on those things where it's like, oh shit, like maybe it was such a low thing to me before, so I just didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it happens to the best of us where it's like, oh shit, the pile of laundry is like bigger than it needs to be, you know? And it could have easily been like, oh, I just need to take like a couple minutes on my day to take care of it before. And it would have never gone to that point. But things stack up and, you know, before you know, it's like a big issue, right? And now that I could kind of figure out what to prioritize, and it's weird. You would think that you should prioritize yourself first, but in a society where it's like work is so fucking important, sometimes you neglect that.
Yeah, but the mind is just wild like that. You could sometimes run efficiently, going, a million miles per hour. Sometimes you need to, slow it down or go in neutral. But I think it's really important to protect your thoughts because that is like I'm not really saying moneymaker as a financial thing, even though it is. Like your thoughts are everything.
Yeah.
Before you take action. History has shown our thoughts are literally everything. That's like the root for everything. And if your thoughts are not in good shape, good luck on your actions.
Yeah.
Good luck on
wrong doors.
this is your money maker. Like this is your fucking weapon. That is your guardian. Like it starts with your thoughts, you know? And I think when you could guard that, not guard as in like hide shit, but you know that's where everything kind of stems from. I'm bless you.
Thanks.
Is it the no I'm playing. I just hope for you and for all of my friends and family, like we could learn to really capitalize and use our thoughts, for the best. And yeah, sometimes you could do a bunch of projects. Sometimes it gets tired, and you gotta do one task at a time, and that's all good. One thing, and this ain't my podcast, but I wanted to ask Johnny is that
No, run it.
how in like I don't know, a handful of words, like how has 2023 been for you?
Honestly, probably like one of the biggest upgrades that I've had.
Ooh,
Yeah.
upgrade you.
Damn, positive, Johnny.
Yeah. Well, I
Optimistic,
mean,
Johnny.
it started off pretty fucking shitty if you don't remember. Me and Peter got into that car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could recall.
Then you got the car you wanted.
I guess so.
You manifested the
Silver
car.
lining.
I mean, I didn't manifest the car
Manifested the
accident.
insurance policy.
But I did tell Peter, like, right before that car accident, like, right before the collision, I was at ease. It was fucking weird. I was like, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Right when it happened, I was the first one to get out of the car. I was like, hey, Peter, good? But the first thing he said, Johnny, you okay? I was like, dude, I'm fine. Like, I'm fucking okay, dude.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to Carol about this shit, too. I was like, I knew I was going to be okay because of all the good things I did. And it was so weird because I didn't even, like, doubt that I was going to be all right, man. It was just, I'll be all right. And it was a pretty crazy car accident.
I'm glad y'all are good.
Yeah,
And everything lined up. It was like, it was shitty for a good fucking minute. I didn't let it defeat me, though. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Undefeated.
Yeah. And yeah, it was weird. I got hired without a fucking car.
Yeah.
I'm making pretty good money, doing what I like. Just I got my life kind of straight. Not really focusing too much on like my personal craft, but it's like I need to grow up. I need to like, make money, kind of like be a fucking man, cool. Plus, I fucked around for like majority of my life. I was like, I need to sit down and like take it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I I know my fucking I know my worth.
Did you start the job this year or was it last year?
It was this year.
Oh shit! Right after the accident was this year.
Yeah, no, it was last year.
It was
But
Okay.
I got hired in like
Oh, okay.
I talked about it in like end of January. Got hired like in February. Started coming into work.
You got
February.
T-boned?
I T-boned the other person because he tried to cut me off.
Oh, on Bristol.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all are good.
That was literally right after Christmas, right?
Oh,
The
shit.
21st, 22nd. I
Oh,
remember
shit,
the
right before
dates too,
Christmas.
man.
I actually have like a car accident like phobia or like a fear of it. I probably told you that, Peter. Like in high school and shortly after high school, like I had at least a handful of close friends die from car accidents. And then my mom was with Allstate for almost 20 years. So she just always embedded like accidents and stuff in my head, right? And the car accidents you've been to, it don't take no time.
No.
And I don't care how nice your car looks. That shit sounds like plastic once it's hit, and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
damn, you don't going like so. Like with y'all, with how your car looked and y'all being good, like fuck.
I mean, I was all right. Peter got injured for the most part. More injured than I was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine now. I think.
Fuck.
I'm getting there. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny because like I just thought this to myself. I think like 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. I was like working out, and a lot of my workouts now always revolve some kind of rehab or involve some kind of rehab because I tore my ACL, MCL, and I was thinking like, damn, like this year was actually so fucking difficult for me to get into the shape that I want to get in.
Yeah.
Considering that fucking my physical health is not the best because of the injuries, but I was like, damn, either I can make excuses for it or I could just fucking learn and like move on, right? And just really focus on my rehab and like just being honest with myself too. Like, no, I didn't do that great of a job rehabbing. You know what I mean? Like, there are days where I fucking skipped it. There are days where I've done shit that I probably shouldn't have done. And
Where do you think that injury came from when we were at Yost?
dude, I
think that came from the accident?
So I talked to my doctor. I forgot what the fuck that doctor is called, but the one that checks on your legs and shit. But he was like, "Oh, so basically what he told me was that when I broke my leg, which is I'm just recently understanding like rehabbing really means." He was like, "Did you rehab your leg?" I was like, "Yeah, my leg feels fine." He's like, "But what did you do?" I'm like,
Any PT or anything?
I just started walking. And he was like, "No, that's not rehabbing."
Yeah.
And he was saying that like all those muscles that could have been weakened from when I broke my leg, the rest of the muscles were just compensating. And it was just like living on a fucking thin ass thread until finally it just gave out after compounding injuries. So it just
okay.
needed something to like trigger, and it was like right there. It's like teetering on the
That's
fucking
how it be.
fine line.
It's just wait. It's kind of. It seems dormant, or it is dormant. And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
Just be like, ha.
What's his name? There's an accident that was like that. I think it was like Paul George or George Paul, the fucking basketball player.
Yeah, when his leg like
Or his
just
leg
snapped.
snapped, and apparently he's had like micro fractures all over his legs for the longest time. But because they're so small, you can't tell. And then when they cross paths, all of a sudden like the fucking thing just snapped.
shattered.
He just like landed on his leg like normally, and the shit shattered.
Yeah, we got to take care of ourselves. you know?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, in my head, like, the biggest thing was like my reality check, and this is just me talking to myself, and obviously it doesn't apply to everyone, but the person that people see, like especially people who don't know me, they don't give a fuck how I got there. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck like I gained weight or I seem more out of shape because I injured myself. No, like they don't know. You know what I mean? So like, who fucking cares what they think? Like I'm doing the best that I can. That's what really matters. Right? And if I'm not, I need to be realistic with myself and then check myself and get myself on that path. And I really had to like reassess and realize like, no, I'm not really doing the best, and I'm trying, but not quite there. And like what do I have to cry about if that's the case? Just being honest with myself.
Yeah. Oh, I feel it. Yeah, man, we're all on our own crazy ass journeys, man. Trying to figure this life thing out.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. For sure, for sure.
And that's with anything in life. Physical, financial,
Mental,
mental,
Spiritual too, man. I'm not even a spiritual guy.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to say thank you to Johnny and Don for coming on. I always appreciate all the banter. You guys know you guys are my homies. Where can the audience find you guys?
Instagram at dimslum, dim.slum.
At Donovan _707. That's for Instagram and SoundCloud. I'll be a lot more active on social media next year. I promise. I might even fuck around, change the handles, but yeah, stay tuned. I'll be a lot more active next year. Thank y'all for having me. For real, for real. It's an honor. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to you guys for watching all the way through. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment below what you guys want to see us talk about next. And remember,
Live fast, eat
ass.
Hey.